Hi everyone, welcome to our webinar on retail digital trends. Thank you for taking the time to listen to us. My name is Patrick Lewis. I'm an Associate Media Director here at EMA. I've been with the agency for about 5 years now. Prior to that, I was at an agency in New York called Media Edge, and some retail brands that I've worked on include Ford, Arby's, Signature Brands, Campbell's Soup, and Singular Wireless / AT&T.
And I'm Christine Dougherty. I'm a management supervisor here at EMA. I've been here for 17 years. Much of what I do is shopper marketing focus. I have a lot of consumer and CPG experience, but I also head up the new mom specialty. EMA has a number of specialties. One is in healthcare. We have a financial specialty, building and construction, energy and sustainability. So I head up the new mom group, which is really great for me and all of our clients because we're able to conduct proprietary research. One of the most recent researches that we did was talking about the new mom. So we looked at the older mom, dad as mom, and the gay, trans, bi gender parents to see how they shop, think, and feel. Today, I'm actually putting my shopper marketing hat on. Patrick and I are going to share some of the trending things as far as retail goes. And some of the clients that I've worked on in the shopper marketing space is Mattel and Fisher-Price, Rich Products, Pumpkin Masters, Rachel's Remedy, Gerber Children's Wear, Breyers Toppings, among others. So we're going to get into a couple of examples and things that are trending. One thing I did want to mention is if anyone has a question, there's a Q&A box, so go ahead and type that in at any time. Okay, so I'm going to start with this number, 215 million. That is the number of online shoppers. And the thing that we all ask ourselves, the million-dollar question is, how do we connect with them? Well, at EMA, we have a philosophy called Brand as Friends. We believe creating friendships using these 9 scientific drivers of friendship really help brands become more successful. Brand as Friend is what happens when a brand becomes more than what you just, something that you buy. It becomes something you relate to, something you bond with, like a friend. We identify and nurture those bonds and relationships in our lives, and we want that to do the same for our brands. Think about Starbucks. I always love to use Starbucks as an example. It's an expensive brand. People go out of their way to go there. Well, not so much anymore because they're pretty much on every corner, but you love Starbucks. It's almost like a brand, a badge. You carry it in your hand and you love drinking and you don't mind spending the money to drink it because you kind of bond with it and you become friends with it. And that's what Brand as Friend is all about. You'll notice throughout our presentation in the lower, mostly left-hand corner, you're going to see these little icons here. And what we're doing is kind of explaining how each of these brands or examples really is showing an example of connecting with a brand on this different level. Here's what we're going to talk about today, some of today's realities. So retail being omnichannel. Loyalty has completely changed. The impact social media is making with influence as well as purchase. Mobile is really allowing brands to communicate directly to shoppers, which we've always had, and we still do in some cases have retailers in the way, but mobile is really allowing us to talk directly to them. And then the last thing we're going to talk about is what's coming next. What is that next great wave of change? And we're going to share some examples with you. So let's start with omnichannel. Slide catch up here. Okay, so it's all about seamless touch points. Today, our entire world is omnichannel. We rarely start and stop a task in one place or in one channel. This could be within the same platform. So look at allrecipes.com example over to the right. Here's a perfect example of a consumer at their desk thinking, okay, it's 4 o'clock, what are we going to make for dinner? And kind of looking at allrecipes.com and saying, okay, I think that chicken and pasta recipe looks good. Now they go into the grocery store and they pick up their phone and say, oh, what exactly, how much cheese do I need? What kind of cheese did I need? And you pick up and you look at the app. And then once you're home, you need that same allrecipes.com, but now you're actually using your tablet because you want to prop it up and see the actual recipe. Here's an example of how brands are capitalizing on this. So shoppers browse a product online, and they may enter a physical store and then get these products retargeted to them. So for example, if you're looking for a book, or if you've just looked up a recipe and said, oh, what kind of salsa is that, Pace might actually serve you up an ad while you are in store because they know that you're looking for that chicken recipe. Consumers are researching and purchasing whatever is most convenient for them. There are two examples here. One is called showrooming and one is called web rooming. So showrooming is all about looking at the product in store, but then they're ultimately purchasing it online. Web rooming is the opposite. They're doing all their research and comparisons online, but then they walk in store and they actually purchase it in store. The interesting thing here is that with this research online, they may not need a discussion with an employee. Now, some retailers might find that beneficial, some not so much, but one of the things we struggle with as marketers is being able to educate retailers and sales associates. You might be dealing with a 17-year-old sales associate that you could do all the million-dollar marketing dollars in the world, but you've got a sales associate that doesn't understand your product. We'd much rather them go to our website and kind of figure out, educate themselves, and then say, nope, I know exactly the kind that I want and product that I want. And this is actually not unique to a specific category. So you'll see here that could be in toys or cars or mobile device. They're doing research both online and in store. So despite the growth of digital in mobile, we know that physical stores are still very, very important. They are not going to go away. So here's a great example of Birchbox. I think everyone knows about Birchbox, and the other brand is Warby Parker. Now these are behemoth online retailers that actually started as these small brands, but they've become these behemoths online. That they saw the relevance of in-store experience and know how much people love to touch and feel things. They actually developed brick and mortar. So again, perfect example of down on the lower right-hand side, you'll see that the fact that I'm being really loyal as a brand because I know that you want to touch and feel some things and kind of see, what's next. Perfect example of kind of trending. So again, just a really great way to show how I'm connecting with you because I know that you're a loyal shopper of mine. I'm going to bring you to that next level. Shoppers want a fluid experience. This is a little example here of showing that they want to be able to purchase online and return in store. This again is an example of us listening to you and being loyal to you. So the fact, I don't want to frustrate you that you've purchased something online and you cannot bring it back in store. So there was a couple of brands and retailers that were doing that for a while, and they kind of were like, oh wow, this is revolutionary. Now shoppers are just expecting it. That would just irritate them if you were not allowing us to bring it back in store if you had purchased it online, for example. eMarketer had some great list of trends, so I'll just kind of read through those, which I thought were really interesting, impacting omnichannel. E-commerce is growing, but it doesn't mean that brick and mortar isn't going away or isn't important. Flexibility is huge. Consumers want stuff when they want it, how they want it. If they can get any TV show or movie within seconds, they want their stuff to be available with that same flexibility. Mobile, it's the new retail hub. Context is more than just location. Enterprise mobile is more important to brands than ever. Cannot forget about the importance of data integration. And personalization is something that is becoming ever more important, but it requires trust. And we're actually going to get a little bit further into that in a few minutes. Let's start with loyalty. This is what loyalty used to look like. I bet some of you still have these cards in your wallet. I am guilty of that. It's actually making my wallet quite fat right now. But it was all about gathering points. That's what it used to be. That has absolutely changed. So you'll see a couple of examples here of what this means today. So it means that shoppers are sick and tired of gathering points because that might not mean anything to them, or they've got 25 different cards and places that they're coming from. Delivery is really, really important. The fact that I'm able to deliver this to different locations and having flexibility. They want volume savings, especially with some of our big families. The fact that if I'm loyal to you and buy more, I expect you to be loyal back to me and give me something. We're going to talk a little bit about subscriptions and how that's kind of removing you from that consumer journey, and then the importance of that in-person experience that is absolutely not going away. When a coupon's not enough, so this is another example of just loyalty cards. They used to be all about retailers gaining your information, and then we might offer you a little bit better products. Consumers are sick of that. You'll see Plenty is a perfect example that it brought some really big brands together to say, okay, these are the places you already shop. There's just one points card that you can now join, and you'll be able to get a plethora of stuff. Walgreens is doing something really great, I think. Again, this is not just about gathering points. This is about offering stuff and things. They offer you points for walking. So this is not just about buying things. They're saying if you are going to be healthy, and they're all about the corner of happy and healthy, right? So they are all about that. So that's kind of standing by, you know, their brand essence. And you'll see in the lower left-hand side of caring, the fact that we care for you. It's not just buy more from us. They're saying if you walk, you can actually gain points and gain things. So again, great example of connecting with the consumer. Delivery mechanisms are increasingly important. They want what they want when they want it. So this is what keeps customers loyal. I just love this example, and I'm an Amazon Prime lover. But Amazon Prime members spend 3 times what non-Prime members spend in 1 year on Amazon. So that's a difference of $1,500 versus $630 in a year. Why? People love Amazon. It's free shipping with Amazon Prime. They already have my credit card information, and one of the things that we absolutely love is their customized delivery. So the fact that you could, in the push of a button, a touch of a button, you can order something and get it delivered to your home. Me personally, I have my parents in there, I have my sister in there, I have my cousin in Las Vegas that I buy her son something, and I literally press the button, and she's like, I'll wrap it, and she does the same for me. So that alone, I don't mind. I mean, sometimes I do get a good price, but I don't mind spending a couple extra dollars because it's easy. And also, reviews are huge. The fact that I can go on and see what thousands of people feel about this, and variety. The fact that, again, I can see, you know, this water bottle, but I can also see 75 other water bottles that are that give me that same experience, or whatever those things that I'm looking for. Breaking the traditional purchase cycle. So this is, again, we're going to talk about Amazon a lot because they are pretty much a gold standard when it comes to everything. But Amazon Dash, probably most of you have heard of Amazon Dash, but it is a physical button that you place in your home, or mostly your home. So if on your washing machine you want to place a Tide button, you actually push the button, and within a day or two, however you have it set up, more Tide will be delivered to you. So you see, while you're actually doing laundry, the fact that you're low on laundry detergent, you push that button. Now, within your account, you have to have it set up where you say, when I push this button, it means you should deliver 2 34-ounce Tides. And it also has a thing if you have a kid in your house and they push it a whole bunch of times. A bunch of people have asked me that, and I was like, yeah, they have something already that they say, if we see this push 3 times, we might send you an email saying, was this you? But the great thing about this is they are avoiding that shopper walking down the Target aisle and saying, oh, Cheer's on sale, or Gain has a new smell. Let me try this. No, we're avoiding that. We're taking you literally out of that purchase cycle because you're pressing a button because you're making it easy. Jet is another behemoth. They just launched in 2015, and either Walmart has signed on the dotted line or they're in the midst of buying Jet for $3 billion. And this is to compete with Amazon Prime because they saw what Amazon Prime was doing, and that is their #1 competitor, Walmart's competitor. So now with Jet, they're going to be able to really compete on a certain level. And Jet is all about that volume discount. So the more you buy, the more you save with Jet. And again, great way of connecting and also advising on what's trending and, you know, how you can gather savings. Shoppers want you to use what they have. So this goes into that personal information. I don't mind you using my personal information like a shopper's club card, but make sure you actually use it in a relevant way. So a perfect example of we're listening to you. So if you know that I've bought organic chicken, you might serve me up some communication saying that organic turkey is on sale. Or I might be advising you connecting with you in an advising way by saying, here's a couple of articles on organic chicken. Or I might surprise you with the fact that you just bought newborn diapers, that I might surprise you with free wipes, or, communication on, wipes that are organic or something like that. So again, using that information in a really relevant way. Here's an example from coupons.com. The reason I love this is that it serves you up personal prices. So if I buy Eggland's Best eggs and I normally spend $1.25 on them, I'm just making that number up, and they've served me up a personal price for a couple penny savings because they know I buy Eggland's Best, that's impressive to me. So not only am I getting the coupon, but you're giving me a special price because I buy more here, really being loyal. Coke, the fact that you bought Coke. So it's those products you already buy, and of course they're going to sprinkle in some new products based on what you've purchased in the past. But use what you know. This is an example of Burberry. So in the yesteryear, if you wanted to have a personalized coat or personalized purse or whatever it might be, it might take you weeks and weeks and weeks, and it would be very, very expensive. Brands, one of the ways that they're connecting with shoppers and making them loyal to them and saying, we hear you, we know that this is important, that you're buying this for your mother. The fact that we put a little made for you, Elizabeth, that's another way to kind of giving a brand that extra edge, that extra push to say, yep, they understand me. They know that that kind of stuff is important to me. So here's a couple examples talking about convenience and information. We keep talking about make sure that you're making it easy for shoppers and give them information. People want information, not information overload, but here are a couple of examples of different brands that we've partnered with. In the upper right-hand corner is example of Shopkick. So this is an app that you have on your phone that you at home can look to see what's kind of trending, what's going on, what kind of savings can I have. It also, if you're about to go into Target, you can kind of see what's going on at Target and what kind of kicks might I get. So the way that it works is when you walk into Target, you might get kicks just for walking into Target, 50 kicks to say, thanks for walking into Target. So then once you're in there, you're going to be served up some communication that says, if you walk over to X brand and all you have to do is scan the product, you are going to earn kicks. And with turning these kicks in, you actually redeem rewards. So you can go to your favorite restaurant, you can get movie tickets, whatever you might be. So the point is you're kind of getting rewarded for products that you already buy, and they're also getting you introduced into some new products. On the left-hand side, Amazon, once again focusing on Amazon, talk about ease. You literally press the Amazon icon, and you press the button that says, I can't remember, it's the little camera icon, and you hold it over anything. So just the other day I was in someone's office and I loved their water bottle. I pressed the app, held it up over the water bottle, and it said, here's this exact water bottle at Amazon, here are the prices, here are the reviews, and here are 15 other water bottles just like that. I mean, that kind of stuff is, talk about easy, and you might not care how much it is. You're like, oh yeah, I'll spend $15 on that. And you might, in that moment, in someone's office that you walked in to talk about something for work, you press a button, and then the next day you've got a water bottle just like Patrick's delivered to you.
Yep, and it's all about convenience. And Honey's another example of that convenience up in the top center. This is an app that basically finds and implements coupon codes for you. So you're shopping online, you put something in your cart, you're about to check out, and then it says, do you have a coupon code? Half the time you go, oh, maybe there's something in my email, or is there a savings to be had this year?
Feel bad. You're like, I know there's one out there, but I don't have the time to get it.
Exactly. So this basically cuts that all out, and it makes sure you're not missing out. So it really connects with consumers in that way, and it's honest and transparent. You're not missing out on a deal, even if you don't know it's there. Ibotta is another couponing app. This one essentially is couponing, but without all the upfront work, without the coupon cutting. Essentially, every week they list a couple hundred products that are available with coupons, but you don't even need to bring your phone in. You don't need to identify what you're going to buy when you go to the store. You can do it after the fact. So you buy a product, you bring it home, you scan the barcode, take a picture of your receipt, and just upload it through the app, and it will automatically bank your savings. So the dollar off goes into an account that slides over to PayPal, and over time you can accumulate all these savings and collect as you'd like. Another one that's interesting is Receipt Hog. And what's different about this is it's not a couponing app where you're specifically getting a deal on a specific product. They are a market research company, and what they just want is a picture of your receipt. So you go shopping anywhere. You can go to Walgreens, CVS, local grocery store. Wherever you go, if you take a picture of your receipt after the fact and upload it into the app, you earn points that ultimately turn into dollars. And again, they're not interested in you had to buy this brand, you had to buy this brand. They're just interested in what you're buying. Is someone who's buying infant diapers, are they also buying coffee? Is there an insight there? And then they use that information to help other marketers.
And as marketers, obviously, that market basket data, we always want to know what are they purchasing with this product, because I'd like to partner with that product, or you're always thinking about what is their mindset, or what is that shopping trip that I'd like to be part of. This next slide is a perfect transition into making sure that you are using that information, but in an okay way. I kind of love this source that I had found that talks about what's cool and what's creepy. So I'm going to talk you through some of these. So on the left-hand side, what's cool? The fact that you would have a scanner that links directly to product reviews. So if you're in store and say like, oh yeah, I want to know how people feel about this water bottle. Would I use that? Absolutely. An interactive store map showing within that store where something is? Absolutely love it. Personal mobile notifications triggered by that location that you are in. So the fact that you're in Tulsa and Pace might give you a coupon? Absolutely. What's creepy? Facial recognition technology, informing the associate that you're a high-value customer. The fact that, hi, Patrick, thanks for joining us again today. A salesperson greets you by name just because your mobile device has registered that Patrick has just walked into the store. And same with video, the fact that your face might be recognized. So the point here is just because you have the technology does not mean that you should use it in a creepy way, because you absolutely will not be connecting with shoppers. Here's a quote that I picked up from a VP at Macy's, which I just absolutely love, so I'm going to read this verbatim. People don't need to know we're sending them a message because of where they actually are. We just need to get them the right messages at the right time in the right place so it feels magical. So just a powerful reminder of making sure that we're not putting this too much in people's faces.
Right, and so everyone knows the prominence of social media in today's world, and so really the question is, what role does that play in retail? It impacts retail in several ways. So, some of them, first, it can lead to product discovery. You're on Instagram, you're on Facebook, you see a picture that someone posted using a product, carrying a bag, wearing something that you think is really cool, and you want it, you inquire about it. You follow the brands you like on their channels. You're getting recommendations from peers and influencers, discovering things that way. And also within the past few years, paid posts have become a major way for discovery. They find out you like a certain brand, and all of a sudden you're being served ads for 5 brands that are just like it, and you discover them that way. Social media is also huge for product information. You're getting videos of products at work, product reviews, just as much information as possible, and peer reviews. Through social media. You can also build brand affinity and loyalty. Actually, last week, a friend of mine, he bought sneakers from a company called Allbirds, which I was not familiar with, but his 200-pound Great Dane ate them the first day he got them. And so he actually posted a picture of his dog with the shoe in his mouth and said, loved the Allbirds while they lasted. And within a half hour, somebody from Allbirds posted in his Instagram feed and said, oh, awesome dog, sorry he ate your shoes, send me a message at lucy@allbirds.com and we'll take care of this and maybe send your dog something too. So it went crazy. All of a sudden there were all these people just, saying that's awesome, I love the brand. I'd never heard of them, but I went and checked them out. So just a great way for brands to build some affinity with consumers.
And that's genuine love and affirmation via social media. You cannot pay for that. So, that was someone that had a really smart social media strategy in place that said we were going to search out these kind of things and give people, I have no idea how much the shoes were, even if they were $100. That $100 and someone taking 2 seconds to respond to social media, think about the amount of people that went and searched that product and felt good and connected to that product because of that one post.
Yep, and the last thing that social media can do now is buy buttons. It basically takes out a step in the process, and you can just actually buy things right from social channels. So one of the things that I mentioned was reviews. Reviews play a big role in purchase decisions. A couple stats here. First, 90% of customers trust reviews more than salespeople. That is not too surprising. I think you've got reviews. You're gonna read those and kind of have an idea of what the product's like. But what was surprising was 82% of customers report that they trust online reviews just as much or more than people they know. So if you think about it, reviews from friends, peers, people you know and trust, that's a quality review. But with online reviews through social, that's quantity and quality. So you're getting both of those things. So if you've got 500 people who are saying this product's awesome, that can help make you feel better, and it can also just reaffirm what a friend has said about a product. Or it might go the other way. You can have a friend who, let's say you're having a baby, you're in the market for a stroller, and your friend says, "I love this stroller, it's great." You take that, you go online, you start seeing some reviews. They're mixed, and some of the reviews are, "It's a nice stroller, but it's a little wide, and I live in an apartment, and it's hard for me to get up the stairs." And you say, "Oh, well, I live in an apartment, my friend does not, so this review actually means more to me than my friend's advice." So it's really important to have strong reviews. And reviews can be found anywhere. Blogs, on retailer sites, e-commerce sites, and YouTube videos. That is actually one of the biggest places to find reviews right now online is on YouTube. So there are people who literally have made a business out of reviewing products online. My son is obsessed with watching tractor videos, just people riding around on tractors, which is, I don't know why he finds it interesting, but we kind of went down the wormhole of watching people riding tractors, and there was a 7-year-old and a 10-year-old who opened a toy John Deere tractor. It had like 10 million views. They put it together, rode it around, and just showed it like they loved the product. So that immediately, I was like, I could see this being something he might like. In these reviews, they give consumers a chance to see a product in action, get a sense of how easy it is to use, put together. And around the holidays, they are relied on extensively. I mean, if you're getting somebody a gift, you want to know and make sure that you're getting them a good gift that's quality, something that's easy to use, that's convenient, and that, if it's a similar product to something else, you want to make sure you're getting them the best of the best. In blogs, they provide tons of product reviews, but let's focus on mom bloggers here. So moms in particular really look to blogs for advice. There's that trust and influence. You're a mom, you read and you follow the same bloggers. You look to them for advice. You're in a very unique situation. You want to relate to someone who is in your shoes and knows exactly what you're going through. Moms look to bloggers for advice. When you're researching a new product, that's incredibly important to a mom. She wants to know what's the best thing for my kid. And one of the first places that can start is with the recommendation of a trusted blogger or the affirmation of a product through a blogger.
And we know that I obviously work a lot with new moms, but we know that from the moment a mom is pregnant, her priorities change. The way that she shops, the way that she thinks, the way that she researches, the sincerity and importance of all of that completely changes. So again, that's why I think, we had moms in here as specifics because it is so important. They absolutely do both. They ask their mom and their friends, but then they absolutely go and look at reviewers to kind of back that up and say, okay, is this really the case? I have a good example of, I researched and listened to a brand to say what was the best car seat. And I had it in my registry, and I said, this is exactly the car seat that I'm because it gets all these really great ratings, and it's just across the board beautiful. And I was reading some reviews, and a bunch of moms had said it had these side impact,
headrest.
Yeah, like the headrest kind of came on. Can you guys see my hands right now? I've got it up above and next to my eyes. And they said a bunch of the kids didn't like it because the cat couldn't see out the window. So although it was very, very safe, the kids were kind of frustrated and always wanting to sit forward. So I changed it for that reason. And one of the things that we always talk about is that you need both brands talking at you, so you're comfortable saying, here are all the features and benefits, but you absolutely need those genuine influencers to be able to back it up. TripAdvisor is another really great example. The fact that I always go to a hotel, the brand hotel, to see like what are the features and benefits, let me see some photos. Then I always go to TripAdvisor and say like, what are actual people's photos? You know, what do these rooms look like? What do the views look like? You need both.
And social has really shortened the path to purchase now. I'm going to focus on Pinterest. You know, initially Pinterest was a place to go to collect and share ideas visually. You know, if you're for recipes, for home decor, if you're entertaining, having a party, you know, you want to see what a cool idea for a kid's birthday party is, something like that. You know, you go on, share ideas, share pictures, and of course, when you look at these pins and these images, there are products that you would need to pull off that look on your own. Actually, 87% of Pinterest users have bought something based on a product that they saw on Pinterest, whether it was food or something for a party or home decor. So, you know, maybe you'd see an idea for decorating a nursery and you really like the look of a crib that's in there, and you just say, hey, I think that's the crib that I want. You know, it used to be you'd have to go find it, search for it, determine where you can buy it, whether it's in store and online. But now that's changed with buyable pins. Essentially, now on Pinterest, retailers can just say, this thing you're looking at, click here, it's highlighted blue, you can just buy it right now with the click of a button. And these buy now buttons, they are becoming common across all social media. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, they all have that feature, and they all remove a step in the path to purchase. So we know a majority of time spent on social networks is via a mobile device, but in general, mobile usage is expanding just at a wildly rapid pace. And mobile plays a huge role in the retail space. If you think about it, smartphones are the most personal of personal devices. You know, we wake up with them, literally. It's a lot of people's alarm clocks. You wake up, first thing you do, check your email, check your weather. You bring them everywhere you go. Communicate with friends, text, you engage in social content, check emails. It's really like a fingerprint, and it's unique to an individual owner, and it knows everything about that owner, including where that owner is going. So in a way, it's really an extension of us, and so it's also an extension of the shopping experience. People use mobile to get information on stores, products, find out where stores are, get feedbacks from friends or families. You know, you're in a store trying on a pair of shoes, you might take a picture, send it to a friend or a spouse and say, are these cool, are these lame, I can't really tell, you know, something like that. It's just part of, it's so common right now, you don't even think about it, but you use your phone all the time. And then savings, I mean, rebates that I mentioned, you may be in a store and say, oh, I think I saw a better deal for this TV at another store, I'm going to go online to see if that's true. So really, it's that instant retail access. And Christine earlier explained the difference between showrooming and web rooming. And with mobile, there's really a little bit of both at play here. So you're in a store, you're doing some research in a store. That's showrooming, right? But so while you're in that store, with mobile, you can go online and do some research too. So you can do web rooming at the same time. So when you do that, studies show that you're actually twice as likely to buy from that store. So think about it. You're in store, you're at Toys R Us, you're kind of on the fence, you see a product you want, then you go online and you see a good review, you do a little more research while you're in the store. That mobile experience helps tip the scales and pushes you towards buying it. And interestingly enough, it's not just millennials. This graph here, 30 to 44-year-olds, the highest percent of people who are researching on mobile while they're in store. But there's clearly volume across the board in all demographics. Oh, now this is a cool thing. Google segmented mobile into these micro moments, they call them. And there's really 4, and they all are part of the mobile experience, and they all can play into retail quite a bit. So first, there's the I want to know moment. So that's, you're curious. You know, someone is wearing a pair of shoes that you like, and you're just curious about the brand, you want to go look it up. You see a commercial on TV for a product, you just grab your phone, it's in your pocket, you look it up to learn more, you want to know more. There's the I want to go moments. So this is all about, proximity, or how do I get there? How do I find the brick and mortar? Say you're traveling for work in a new city, and you want to know where the nearest coffee shop is. You got to grab a coffee before your meeting. Grab your phone to find out where the nearest Starbucks is. And if you spill coffee on your shirt, find out where the nearest department store is to put on a new shirt. There's the I want to do moment. So this is, performing a task. I want to do something. I want to figure out how to do this. My thermostat's broken. How, I need to replace it. What's the best temperature for grilling steak? Just really I need to find out. I've got my phone right here. I can do that quickly. And you can see how these three things, wanting to know, wanting to go, and wanting to do, can help lead to sales. It gets me to the store. It helps me find the right thermostat. But it's really this fourth one, the I want to buy moments, where the sales happen. So think about showrooming and web rooming. You're in a store, you're close to buying, but you want to know a little more. You can do, that helps push to immediate sales. The convenience of the buy now buttons. And just in general, consumers are getting more comfortable buying on their mobile phones. It used to be this stigma about even buying online. You were afraid to put your credit card information in. And then mobile is less convenient because typing the credit card number on your phone is a little tricky. But now it's gotten so much more convenient and so much easier that people are buying now on mobile so much more than they had in the past. Another component that's crucial to retail is location services. So through GPS, your phone knows where you are, and 90% of users enable these services. So rather than getting the weather and typing in your zip code to get it every day, your phone just knows, hey, you're in Buffalo, New York, and it's snowing today.
No, it's not.
Well, not today. It's not today. So it knows where you live, it knows where you work, it knows where you go to school, it knows when you're near a store, when you're close to one, when you're in a store, and marketers can really use that information in a myriad of ways. So say you're in a grocery store aisle and you're looking up a taco dip recipe. I'll use Pace again. You're trying to recall what you need, how much. Pace knows you're at the grocery store, knows you're looking up a taco dip recipe. They can serve you an ad for their salsa. So you're very close to the point of purchase. Figure you're looking up salsa. Why don't they send you a little reminder to help push you towards them? Another example, say you're not in a Best Buy, but it's Saturday and you're driving around and you're within a couple miles of one. But you've also been searching for TVs online. You've been, looking up the cost of a new flat screen TV. Best Buy could notify you of a sale that's going on today and say, hey, you're only a mile away. Come to Best Buy and get 50% off your TV today. And they can take it a step further by giving you directions from exactly where you are to the Best Buy and really kind of push you along knowing that you're close. So why don't we try to lure you in a little bit. So those are just two examples, but really the possibilities are pretty endless when it comes to mobile. So what's next? What's new? What's the latest technology that's going to have an impact in retail? I'm just going to focus on four here: virtual reality, augmented reality, beacons, and 3D printing. Okay, there we go. So first, virtual reality. What is virtual reality? I think a lot of times you think of it as just being video games or associated with that, which is true. But really it can be used in a ton of different ways. It's all about the creation of a virtual world that users can interact with. So think of it as you're experiencing something that is not actually happening around you in real life. It's almost like you're being teleported to a new world entirely. And some brands and retailers have created some really cool virtual executions, both in-store and online. On the in-store retailer end of things, there's an example from Lowe's where they've built these things called hollow rooms in a few of their stores, which is essentially a virtual room that lets you go and design or remodel a room in your house. So you just go in, you put the goggles on, provide room dimensions, and literally just start placing virtual products into the virtual version of your room. So think about that. There's no architect needed, no renderings, no specs. You don't need to get a designer to come show you how it might look. You can do this all in store, and you can play around with the options, with the pricing. say, oh, this cabinet looks really good, but do I like it $500 more than this other cabinet? So really just get a sense of what the remodel will look like and price it out all in a trip to the store. You don't have to do a lot of work up front. It can all be done right there through VR. So for Lowe's customers, it's surprising. It's advising. It helps consumers determine what the best product is, and it connects them with the products that make the most sense. The other good example is on the brand end, and this is with Tom's Shoes. So I think most people are familiar with them, but they are the shoe company that basically gives back. They're wildly successful, super popular, socially conscious brand that for every pair of shoes that they sell, they donate a pair of shoes to a child in need in a third world country. So that alone kind of propelled them into this major shoe brand. Everyone thought it was really cool, and everyone liked the idea of buying these shoes, sort of wearing it like a pride point. I bought these shoes and I'm doing something to help out kids who need it. So that alone, shows Lowe's a brand who cares. But they took it to a next level with an online virtual reality experience where they actually created a virtual trip to Peru. So if you go to their website, you can watch this virtual tour, and it starts off where, from your point of view, as a virtual driver, you're in the back seat of a Jeep while they're going to deliver shoes to the children in a village in Peru. So it's really cool. You can look left, down, right, up, look all over. You totally have control of what you're looking at. You can get a sense of the village they're going to. You can look at all the kids. You can see them receiving their shoes, how excited they are. And it really just takes sort of the Tom's, care and affinity, and just really puts it in front of your own eyes. So you do that, and then you say, and I got to buy a pair of shoes now.
Another example of that, too, kind of on the shopper marketing retailer side, we've been seeing retailers use this, brands use this to communicate to retailers what a new aisle might look like. So, for example, that they might say, we really want to pitch to you, striping the entire category because that's how shoppers shop, or talk about navigation to the CEO of Target, or for example. So they're using this virtual reality to not say we have to spend hours and hours and hours setting up in a complete shop that looks just like your store, but we can actually do it on the computer, and we might even be able to not have to fly across the country to do that. So we're seeing this really, really become popular.
And then there's augmented reality, which similar to VR, but similar to virtual, but with a very specific difference. Augmented reality is basically the blending of virtual reality, but with real life. So think of it as whatever you're looking at, the real world that you're exposed to, there's a virtual component laid onto it. And with AR, users are able to interact with those virtual contents in the real world. So one example is being able to try on, and I use air quotes, try on clothes without actually having to step foot in a store. You just step in front of your camera, kind of rotate outfits, and there's a virtual outfit that will, cover your body and give you a sense of what that looks like. So advising you, this looks good, this doesn't, I don't think I want to buy this. It helps you kind of get a sense of what you're buying and how it'll look before you kind of discover at home that, this is not what I thought it was. On the flip side, retailers are also using some popular augmented reality platforms to help drive store traffic. So Pokemon Go, for instance, I think everyone's pretty familiar with that craze that hit this summer, and it's still very popular, the fastest growing app in history. Basically, people are walking all over trying to capture virtual Pokemon. So you're in public spaces, parks, churches, coffee shops, seeing them as they are through your phone, but with Pokemons that are in there that you're trying to capture that are these virtual Pokemons. And it's kind of interesting because at first some retailers saw this as a nuisance. There'd be signs in front of stores saying bathrooms are for paying customers only, no Pokemons, Then others saw it as an opportunity. And first it kind of started off as an organic, catch a Pokemon in here, get 10% off your coffee. So people would go to coffee shops, do that. You'd see the chalkboard signs out front. But more recently, retailers have been buying lures from Nintendo and Pokemon, which place virtual Pokemons in their stores. So for only a few dollars an hour, you can have a Pokemon in your store. So people are walking around with their phones trying to catch them. They're walking into the store, into the pizzeria, and for a few dollars, you get 50 people to walk into your pizzeria. You know, you're going to get some sales there, and it's going to help get some traffic and sales.
The next thing we're going to talk about is 3D printing, which I know probably sounds a little bit unusual as far as a digital retail trend, but it's amazing what retailers and brands are doing with this. So I think everyone knows what 3D printing is, but I'll kind of give you the definition of it. It's making a physical object from a 3D model. So this is about laying many layers of material in succession. There are a couple, on the left-hand side is an example of a pharmaceutical company. This is one of my favorite examples. So there are pharmaceutical companies now that have this technology, and now they don't have to overstock pills that they may or may not use. So they might actually do this for something that they don't use very often, or vice versa, something they use very, very often. As long as they have those powders in store, or materials, I'm not a pharmacist, I don't know, but liquids, powders, whatever, if you have those materials in stock, you're able to create those pills within an hour or two, however it might be. So what this means is that now retailers and brands, this means that you're never running out of a particular color or a flavor. If a consumer designs something at home or in store, you could literally print it right there and maybe come back in a couple hours and you could pick it up or pick it up the next day, versus having it shipped 2 weeks from now or shipped from China. I mean, that is really revolutionary. You'll see down there, Mattel actually has created, it's called ThingMaker. It's actually a product where kids can create via an app on their iPad or computer. They create a toy, and they can, within a couple of hours, have that toy brought to life right before them. So very, very powerful. The UPS logo there, this is actually just in the news that they've launched this in Singapore, but the cool thing with UPS is they've actually partnered with a manufacturer that you could, I think online or call, whatever it might be, but within a couple of minutes, order a part. So that could be a part for a furnace or a car or whatever it might be that you need in an instant, and this manufacturer and this UPS location will 3D print that product and maybe deliver it the very next day or even that day when it's in the right area. So again, it's all about giving people that edge and giving brands that edge and kind of surprising them to say, oh, we've got that. Don't go to the competitor. We've got that. You know, we're going to help you with that. Don't go anywhere else.
And think about just some like in-store experiential stuff that there could be. You know, you go to a store to buy a phone, and here we have a 3D printer that's going to print a phone case for you, customized. Just a lot of cool extensions there that can happen in-store too.
Yeah, I read it something they said it was the Uberization of manufacturing. I thought that was pretty cool. Uber is not going away. Beacons. Again, might be a little bit of a strange one. Beacons have been around for a very long time. There were many articles a number of years ago saying that this was the biggest thing in mobile ever. There's been some problems with them in really being able to launch this, but I thought that it was important for us to talk about it because it really is a simple, inexpensive way to execute something. So beacons, if you see that little purple thing, it's an actual physical piece that needs to be in the retailer. So that physical piece is within a retailer, and as long as you've got it, communicates with your phone via Bluetooth, and it can serve you up content and ads within an instant just because you were right there. Some of the barriers and the reasons that it really hasn't taken off, although Target and Macy's have tested this, is that people have to have Bluetooth open and they also have to have this app open, and it actually doesn't work quite as well with iPhones, but we're definitely keeping an eye on that because that could be something that's really going somewhere. Here are a couple additional tactics to just kind of keep in mind. There we go, keeping up. SMS texting. So this is an example of a very simple tactic, very simple way of communicating with folks. So there's a plethora of options here, but if you'll see in the middle there, Best Buy just ran a program trying to get back to college-bound students to purchase elements from them. So this is all about consumers reaching out to the brand or the retailer to say, yep, I'd like that. So all they have to do, like Patrick had said, their phone is probably in their hand. It might not even be in their pocket. It's literally in their hand. All they have to do is, text is probably already open. You have to text in keyword, ABCD to short code 12345, and you're going to get something, whether that be coupon, dollars off, savings, whatever it might be. Although texting is old school, it works, it's simple, it's cost effective. So,
and it's very immediate. I mean, you think about emails, that you get from brands. You might not look at it. It might sit in your inbox. You may never open it. But as soon as you get a text message, you're going to respond to it right away, whether you're going to look at it or not. It's not just kind of sitting and doing nothing. You're going to react right away. And
one of the things that a lot of clients have asked me in the past is, do people not want to communicate because they feel like they're going to be communicated forever with this brand? And that's not the case at all. The fact is that you actually have to click an icon or click a box to say you can have further communication. So it really is an in and out, I'm just sending you this coupon and then that's it.
So my favorite example, really cool, is a store called Meatpack, which is this trendy, cool, bad boy, edgy sneaker retailer in Guatemala. And they leverage some location data to help drive store traffic and sales. So what they did was they created an app called Hijack for their consumers and fans. And the app notified those consumers of just a crazy discount that was at Meatpack. But they only got that notification the second they walk into a competitive store. And the discount starts at 99% and starts working its way down as time passes. So literally they're hijacking a consumer from a competitive location, just creating this sales frenzy, creating urgency. So think about, you're at the Nike store in the mall and all of a sudden your phone pings and it says, get to Meatpack right now for 99% off your sneakers. You don't really know what's happening. You kind of get excited. You get this rush and you just take off. So people really did step up to the challenge. No one knew what was going on, but a 99% discount, that's going to make you move your feet. And they weren't just being given a discount; they really had to earn it. So, an example of surprise, 99% off. You just walked into the Nike store. Just loyalty to the consumers and fans of Meatpack who downloaded the app. It's honest, brutally honest. Here's the deal, and stylish. Just how much cooler is it to get a discount that way than it is to walk by a sign in a store? And they actually had over 600 customers stolen from competitive stores during this test. So another great use of mobile comes from Home Depot. And Home Depot was ranked the #1 mobile experience among retailers, and that's thanks to their app, which incorporates a lot of the conveniences and technologies that we spoke of earlier, and it also hits on a lot of those brand as friend drivers. Essentially, the Home Depot app brings your home to the store and brings Home Depot to your home. So let's say you're redoing your family room and you need a new light fixture. You're at home, you open the chat feature to consult with an expert at Home Depot. You can take a pic of the current fixture, of your ceiling. You can get options, get advice. They may recommend some products for you. And the great thing is you don't have to be in store to have these questions answered, and you don't have to answer questions. I mean, you go to Home Depot and they might say, oh, well, is there a grounding wire here? And it's like, I don't even know what that is. So, you can answer all those questions and vet those things before you actually make a purchase or have to make a decision. So same family room, let's say you're painting the walls. There is a paint finder feature using augmented reality in their app. So you hold your camera up to the wall that you want to paint and you just start laying on paint colors that you're considering. So rather than using a swatch or having to buy samples and paint a little square on your wall, you can literally test every option through augmented reality and see how it's going to look. So then you get to Home Depot, you're ready to grab that stuff. The second you walk in, a virtual map of the store shows up and it knows everything that you're interested in for that family room remodel. So it'll tell you where to go to get your paint that you chose that's already mixed. It'll tell you where the light fixtures are, and say you didn't really have one in mind specifically. You can go scan your app over some of those light fixtures and it'll show you which ones are the easiest ones to install. It'll show you how to install or put them together. So really great job of surprising you with the app when you get there, advising, listening, and just connecting with the consumer.
So I'm bringing this slide up again because everything that we had chosen today were perfect examples of retailers and brands that were connecting with shoppers, really giving themselves an edge in trying to create friendships. There is always going to be a new thing. There's always going to be a better sale. There's always going to be bells and whistles that have come from the competition. You need to make sure that you're connecting with shoppers at a whole new level, and that's what Brand is Friend is, and that's why we chose most of the trends and examples that we did. We have a couple of minutes. We'd love to open it up for questions. Will this presentation be available? Yes, absolutely. Let's see what else.
How expensive are some of the tactics that you've talked about? That's kind of a loaded question, but the answer is some of them are not expensive. You can dip your toes in. You like SMS messaging, the texting stuff. You don't need a huge budget to do something like that. But obviously something like the Meat Pack example where you're building an app and program, that will be more expensive. But just in general, there are ways to test out some of the new technology and take advantage of these retail trends without spending a ton of money.
And you can do that, regionally. A lot of times when people say we don't have a ton of money, we say, okay, we'll test it in a couple of regions. It might be, the biggest cities, or it might just say, let's just test it out because we know that we've got really low volume here or something like that. So anything that you might do, you may actually test it in regions.
What have you done with your clients in this space? So so are there any examples of things that we've done? For Ford, we've done some of that location-based targeting where we're targeting competitive car shoppers. So we actually did geofences around competitive dealerships of Ford, and we served an ad that said, there's a great deal at your local Ford dealership, and they actually it would identify the closest Ford dealership to the competitive dealership that you're currently at and help get you there. But it'll give you directions. You can call the dealership right away. You can schedule a test drive. So we've been doing that for about 2 years now, and really have seen some good results. Like several hundred people are driven to the Ford stores on a monthly basis, just in terms of GPS traffic that we've noticed. So that's been pretty successful.
We actually did something with Gerber Children's where with that Shop Kick Act that we had talked about, where we drove, they were really trying to get people to see, what their new fabric felt like on their blanket sleeper. So the whole point was you go in and you got a message that said, go over to this product and scan it. So we saw sales go up dramatically, but the whole point was that we wanted them to actually touch and feel it, and that was it. So we chose the right option for that. So I think we are right at 1 o'clock. So if there are any other questions that we didn't get to answer, our information's up. We're going to be sending up some follow-up emails, so please go ahead and reach out to either myself or Patrick. And thanks, everyone, for joining us today.